Yeah, so I'm Kevin Mofid. I head up industrial and logistics research for Savills in the UK and Europe. I've been talking and writing about warehouses now for over 15 years. And specifically talking about the smaller side of the market has always been quite difficult because, put simply, data doesn't really exist in the same way that it does for the bigger box side of the market. So it makes it difficult to analyse, difficult to talk about. Over probably the last decade, the data availability has been changing, evolving and improving. And it now allows us to talk and commentate on that particular part of the market, particularly in the UK, in much greater detail. I think really the realisation is that anything that is made or bought passes through a warehouse at some point, whether that's a big warehouse, whether that's a small warehouse, or something in between. That's the physical world, but also in the digital world, anything that is filmed or consumed digitally as well will also pass through a warehouse at some point, whether that's a film studio creating content or whether it's a data center serving that content as well. So, these buildings are really pieces of national infrastructure, whether they're big or small. So that's something that I think we all need to realise and be aware of. There are two key issues in my mind when it comes to this space. If you look at satellite imagery for any major town or conurbation in the UK, and you look at where the industrial space is, predominantly it's located around the canal and rail networks. And this is a byproduct of the Industrial Revolution hundreds and hundreds of years ago. This space has evolved because of the way our cities used to operate. And that's changing. New modern facilities are being built closer to road networks and other multimodal hubs. But actually, the lion's share of that space is located in places where it wouldn't necessarily be built today. The other big issue is that if you look at the total amount of warehouse space in the UK, big box and small box, we also have a storm brewing in relation to its suitability for modern sustainability, EPC standards, and so on. A huge proportion of this stock is rated very poorly when it comes to EPCs in particular. So how is that existing stock going to be repurposed and made fit for modern use? Well, the report refers to co-location in terms of building smaller warehouses in closer proximity to larger logistics-focused warehouses. When we talk about co-location, there's really two elements to that. It's side-by-side co-location, but also potentially vertical integration with other types of uses. Going back to the first point about side-by-side location, this makes a lot of sense in at least in planning terms, but you also get benefits like agglomeration impact, economies of scale, better transport, better infrastructure, and so on. So it's definitely an idea worth exploring in much more detail. I don't think it's a secret. I think it's planning policy. So influencing national planning policy at a central government level, making sure policymakers are aware of all of the issues that this particular subsector has, but not just the issues, the benefits. And when that discussion at a central government level happens, hopefully we'll see planning policy change along with it. So I don't think the call of action really is to the property industry here. I think the call of action is to policymakers, whether that be at central government or local government. And really the call to action is to educate yourself and learn about what this sector brings both to the national economy but also local economies as well. The benefits of job creation, the benefits to the housing market, the benefits to improved transport infrastructure, all of those things are not commonly understood at that central and local government level. So I think the call to action really is for those policymakers to be receptive, to learn, and then to hopefully implement or at least consult on the issues that the report raises.